WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
The Muppets took Manhattan, and now they're taking the Twin Cities. Join us today on PM Magazine as we get a behind-the-scenes look at this national stage show, which is currently playing here in town.
Good afternoon and welcome to PM Magazine. I'm Steve Doyle.
And I'm Pat Brown. And this afternoon, Steve and I are visiting the Sesame Street toy department in the JCPenney store in downtown Minneapolis.
You know, it seems like everybody loves the Muppets. And in case you haven't heard, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and the whole Muppets gang are now in town, starring in their very own stage show at the Met Sports Center. Just one stop on a national tour.
Well, a few months ago, we had the chance to go behind the scenes of this show as it rehearsed in, believe it or not, Fridley, Minnesota. So join us now as we take a look at how this show came together and find out once and for all if Kermit and Miss Piggy are really married.
Happy feet, I've got those happy feet. Give them a low down beat, and they begin dancing.
Yes, the world's most famous amphibian, Kermit the Frog, is back to entertain us again. This time live on stage with the whole cast of Muppet characters. It's a $1 million production on a 40-week nationwide tour that literally got its act together in our own backyard, the Columbia Arena Ice Rink in Fridley, Minnesota. Why Minnesota? Producer Bob Shipstad explains.
Well, I think it's just a little bit more free-feeling, and schedules aren't quite as tight, and you don't have the hubbub and the hustle of the city and all those different things. So it's, I guess, being in the country, especially if you're in New York or Los Angeles, it's kind of a nice place to be.
Okay, was there a problem over there?
Having danced as a rockette in New York's Radio City Music Hall and assisted on the television show Solid Gold, choreographer Diane Arnold knows the demands of show business well. But choreographing the Muppet Show requires more than technicalities.
I look for energy and emoting. Because they are covered, they have to give me 10 times the energy that they would if they were not covered, because it just doesn't show. Everything gets so softened in those costumes.
Take, for instance, a breakdancing Fozzie Bear. Perhaps the most difficult costume of all to perform in is that of Miss Piggy, played by Susie Swanson of Minneapolis.
The costume's very hot and it's very heavy. It is something that takes a lot of stamina. The vision is very poor, and Miss Piggy's costume seems to be worse than most of them.
Consequently, Miss Piggy is surrounded by wardrobe people backstage. Star treatment, you understand. All in all, it takes over 20 people behind the scenes to keep the show going, a show that's been in the planning stages for an entire year. While the costumes were conceived and built in New York and Los Angeles, the set design and special effects were originated here in the Twin Cities. And while more of the cast calls Minneapolis home than any other city, Maggie Jagger of Pueblo, Colorado, feels that she was destined to get the part of Kermit.
Yes, in a sense, I feel that by getting the part of Kermit is fate, because back in high school, I was the type of person who ran for student council, was president of this, did that, and the other, and Kermit is somewhat that way. And my nickname in high school was also Kermit.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Down, down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Watch that line. Don't crowd in. You're getting a little too tight.
We've got some really, really good dancers and people who really care about the Muppets. And they have to, you know, otherwise, who wants to put on, there's no glory. Who wants to put on a costume from head to toe and go out and be Fozzie Bear instead of Gretchen?
As talented as the actors and actresses are playing the Muppets, what we really want to know is, are Kermit and Miss Piggy really married?
Oh, hiya, Miss Piggy. We missed you in the opening rehearsal.
Oh, Kermit, dear. When you talk to Miss Piggy, she's absolutely convinced that she's married, and Kermit tries to tell her that, well, it was just a scene that they played in the Muppets Go Manhattan. But she takes the scene for real, and he's kind of pushing it off as though it was just a scene.
Miss Piggy is more secretive.
Kermie, my frog, it's a secret. But if you can get it out of him, be sure to tell me.
No, they're not married. As a matter of fact, in the show that's Newlyweds, Piggy, we're not newlyweds. That was just a movie. So it was just a movie. They're not married.
But is this the truth? Diane, who knows them better than anyone, has the final word.
Oh, I think you'll have to come to the show to see that.
By the way, the Muppet Show will be going on at the Met Center tonight through Sunday. Just call our PM hotline for more details.
Up next.